Yeah, please. Please, I would love to know. I want to learn. I've been asking her for 5 years. Yeah. And she still says
So
no.
you cannot drive a stick shift.
I cannot.
Can you parallel park?
Yes. I can parallel park.
Huh?
I can parallel park.
Well, I'm gonna allow you guys to drive me around.
Okay.
Well, how?
Well, this is an automatic. I can drive this. I can drive this.
I'm gonna downsize. I'm gonna buy a bunch of little old Mazdas. Those little Mazda trucks that they use at the university to dump the garbage.
Uh-huh. Listen, you just show me how to drive stick shift. I will do it.
All right, you're dagging this problem now.
Yeah. Like I've had to
Fast and Furious next week. She's gonna show up just drifting.
I've drifted my car once, not intentionally. I took a turn way too. It was really tight, it was almost like a U, and I was going way too fast. And thankfully there were no other cars because we went skirt. Water's important. Water's important.
John Daly doesn't drink water.
Huh?
John Daly, the golfer.
I don't know who that is.
He just drinks vodka, Diet Coke, and chocolate milk. Drinks cigarettes.
Cigs are nasty.
He's one of the top golfers. Never practices. Parties all the time.
How's he good? He's just naturally good.
He's just really good.
Pure talent.
Yeah, doesn't care about anything.
My family's really big into golfing, especially my dad's side. My dad's dad used to be do all the championships and stuff. I, on the other hand, I'm not very good. I try, but I'm not very good.
What do you need to know? What's the question that Lizzie has?
How to be a good apprentice.
How to be a good apprentice?
Well, gotta try and be a step ahead of the game.
You gotta give a shit first, for starters.
Yeah. You gotta be full in.
Well, did you notice that pattern? No, everybody that's just one step in, one step out, they never last.
Yeah.
Right?
Try to learn as much as you can while you're apprenticing. I mean, you're gonna make mistakes, but it's what you take out of the mistake. It's the most important.
But another thing too that people don't talk about, you gotta enjoy it though.
Yeah.
You gotta enjoy the struggle a little bit. You gotta enjoy the long hours. You gotta enjoy the process of getting better. You can't. At least I never did this. I never looked at apprenticeship as a job. I got paid enough to survive, but that was about it. Didn't make money, but I enjoyed it. I had so much fun. But apprenticeships, when it comes to fairs, and they're not for everybody.
Right.
Most of the people really don't want to work that hard. It's not easy. I mean, not casting blame. It's just
right.
Not for everybody. Not everybody that comes to horseshoeing school really wants to show horses. They think they do. But not everybody that wants to do an apprenticeship like that. Everybody that comes and tries to apprentice you and have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, they last about 2-3 months. Right? And that's because in these first couple of months, we're not really expecting anything yet.
Right.
We kind of giving them about 2 months to settle. right?
Mhm.
So they can get used to the systems, so they can learn how to observe, how to like get a lot of the information just by riding around and see it. They're not really useful, or they're
Right.
not really. We don't expect anything yet. But then after 2 months, when we crank the heat, and that's when they just burst in the leave, right? 'Cause they were never really truly committed because they
Right.
thought that's what it was, just sit around and do some work that if you forget to do it, nothing really is gonna be affected,
Mhm.
you know. So I think the first step is like you gotta really care first, right?
Mhm.
And it's different in school because apprenticeship is on the job training.
Right.
Right? It's not that we're gonna have time to sit here and go through the anatomy book again like we did in the classroom. Is that it's already expected that you know, right? We're here to answer questions, to give like practical experience, right?
Right.
Versus an apprenticeship, you don't have a lot of time, like a time that's allotted to you to from 9 to 10, you guys are gonna be building horseshoes. No, like you be shooting horses, and
Right.
then you're gonna find the time to practice on your own.
Right.
We'll help you. I mean, in the winter, like we are lucky enough that in the winter it allows you guys to get time for that stuff.
Mhm.
But when spring season comes, we don't have that. So if you want to get ready for certification, it's smart to use the winter to have a head start,
Mhm.
because when most of the certifications start popping out on the schedule, that's when we're super busy. So you won't have much time to practice, right?
Right.
It's not very difficult to be an apprentice. You gotta pay attention to details, right?
Mhm.
I wouldn't even say pay attention to details. Just pay attention. If you if you're ridden in somebody's truck like 3 times, you should know how to set it up. I don't care who. Like if you just you go ride
Right.
with somebody for a week, just because you've been in this person's truck 3 times, you should know how to unload it and load it back up.
Yeah.
Right? It's not that hard. If you can't do that, then you're not paying attention. You should know where the tools go. Should know all that stuff.
Mhm.
Paying attention is just the first step. Read the room. You gotta read the room, right? At the client's place, you're paying attention. A lot of stuff. The whole showing plan is most of the time is defined by the communication with the client. So we're talking to the client. We're listening to, you know, concerns that the client might have. If it's a trainer, what they notice when they ride those horses, and by the conversation, you as an apprentice, you should know what the showing plan should be. You should know if we're going to be using any kind of modern material. You should know what kind of shoes we're going to be using. You should know all of that, and that stuff should already be ready to go,
Mhm.
just by eavesdropping the conversation. Versus wait for me to talk to the client and repeat the whole conversation to you, which is what happens most of the time. I mean, not you specifically, but that's what happens most of the time with people. was starting out, right? And I get mad when I don't repeat. There's a reason why I don't repeat. You know? Because you got to be able to think fast. It's another thing of apprenticeships, too. You should think fast. What do you think a good apprentice is? I like that sweatshirt.
Would you wear that? I don't know. I think, you should take apprenticeships very seriously. Not everybody, gets the opportunity to take one. Um, I think you should learn as much as you can, and you know, everybody learns at a different rate, but try and get on board as quick as possible.
See, like, that's bullshit. I think it is okay for school, right? When you're teaching students, like when you're teaching students, the students are paying you to teach them, right? And then the teacher has to adapt to the students' learn speed. Apprenticeship is reversed. You have to learn at the speed that is required. Right? It's a whole shift in mindset. Right?
Right.
Because otherwise you're just not cut out for it. Because somebody doesn't have a whole year to teach somebody to clinch. If somebody's just, it's just because I learned slowly. When you're in school, unfortunately, the schools, they have to adapt to how the students learn because of the whole no student left behind style and all that stuff. Right? The students are paying and then but when you go to an apprenticeship, it's different. Like you have to learn at the speed that is required. Even if that means a little extra work for you. I'm not denying the fact that some people are gonna have for some people certain things will be easier to learn than others. I get it. Right? But if something is not easy for you to learn in an apprenticeship, it means it's gonna require you extra time and extra effort so you can catch up.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the business is not going to stop to wait for you to be ready and learn.
Right.
It's a mind shift. It's a different mindset. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I think. So your job as an apprentice, make sure that you can learn as fast as possible. And that goes back to caring and trying, like you said. In school is different. Like in school we coddle you guys. And we don't even do that much, but right? But when you switch speed, you gotta learn fast. Like somebody has to show you the same thing twice. Something is wrong. Like they can show you twice to refine some questions that you might have, to answer some questions that you might have after they showed you the first time. Right?
Right.
So let's take clenching for instance. I'm teaching you how to clinch. And I went through all the steps of clinching and how the clinches should look like, what we look for, what our finishing should look like. I shouldn't have to go through clinching with you again. I could, however, go over clinching to answer certain questions that you might have. Because you could come and say, hey, you mentioned about being a two-step process with your clinchers. Can you go over the second step one more time? That's different. They may have to go over the clinching process all over again because you forgot everything. I say you, I'm generalizing. I don't mean you specifically you.
Yeah.
Understand?
Mm-hmm.
And it's important because, like in a couple of years, you'll be doing to somebody what I'm doing to you. You'll be explaining to this person. And you're going to see how frustrating it is when you go through the whole thing and when you're done explaining, they don't remember where you started. So I don't believe that you should be taught the same thing twice. I think you should, if you're really paying attention and you really care, like every repetition that you have on the subject, it's a refinement, not necessarily an explanation of the whole thing.
Right.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Because if you have to explain everything, you just didn't retain anything. Because everything else comes. Like the speed will come, the efficiency will come. Once you understand, once the understanding is there. You know, you cannot try to be fast if you're not efficient. You could try, you're just going to be tripping all over everything. You're just going to be running and breaking everything. Because you don't really understand. You just try to rush. Versus when you're efficient, you're smooth.
Right.
The reason why you were smooth is because you understood the process. Once the process is understood, and then it flows naturally. I think attitude is important in apprenticeship. Have a good attitude.
Yeah. I agree.
Like fitters are grouchy. The reason they're grouchy because they're getting chewed out from every direction. They are. You know, they're getting like chewed out all the time, and people yelling around and complaining about stuff that's not their fault. All that. And then they have to deal with somebody that doesn't really care much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think as an apprentice, if you have a positive attitude, you want to be there. So like, got a good sense of humor. I mean, we're pretty lucky. Everybody that works here to have a good attitude. They're upbeat. I always say that you can teach skills, but you cannot teach personality. You know, when you have just a negative Nancy, it sucks. Spend 12, 14 hours with this person in the truck. I was complaining, when are we going to get done? But we got done faster. You work faster. I think when you start an apprenticeship, you have no right to ask what time you're going to get that. Right? If you're not good, you're not good enough to help speed up the process.
Right.
Matter of fact, you're slowing everything down, so you got no place to ask what time you'll be getting done. We're fixing got stuck. Yeah, Tacoma would not get through this. Okay, where's this one horse there? Where's the other one?
Bay. Isn't there like a paint?
Yeah, there's a little Arab.
Oh,
Did he
yeah.
die?
The Arab. Oh, it might be in the shed or something.
Where are we gonna trim him?
Last time Lizzie and I, well,
I have to put my yak tracks.